Welcome, guys, gals, non-binary pals, to the Max Randomizer tournament. We are getting things started tonight. Apologies for my slow computer as we transition over to the correct scene layout. Hi! We're starting! Yay! We got Star and Chroma tonight to keep you appraised of what is happening, and we've got Krista on tracking tonight, so I will leave y'all to it.
Yep, hi everyone! We've got the opening match of the Zelda 2 Randomizer 2021 Max Rando Tournament between traiLZ and Ellendar here. Should be a really good one.
Here we go, yeah. Ellendar, pretty strong player. Remember briefly from the last tournament, traiLZ, of course, the reigning champion in the Max Rando category. Strong player himself. And looks like we are off.
Ooh, 5 lives, nice. Jumping fairy start and a 5-gemmer.
So should be decent amount of time to complete the seed. Of course, the gems don't necessarily indicate how long it will be.
Yeah. And Rando here, fire! Okay. Right near start. As traiLZ has found himself in an item cave. And there's Palace 1, near start. Kind of a medium brown color.
Quick life level for traiLZ and some Dairas. Decent experience, nothing special. Standard 100 for the red Daira.
Okay, I'm a bit ahead, sorry, making note. Okay, I might just need a page refresh.
Raru is spell for Ellendar.
Yep, not too far from start either, apparently.
Thank you, Aaron.
traiLZ opted for the quick up and A to get out of the item cave. I did not notice what was there, but it looks like it was possibly a magic container. Yeah.
Alright. Fairly boring overall map today. At least it doesn't look to be any particular biome.
It's a smattering of things, of geographical features.
Yeah, it looks just like looks like a vanilla-like part of the terrible pun. West today.
It's kind of a casserole, though. Like everything's kind of thrown in randomly. What a shock!
Yeah.
Things are assembled randomly. Mito is Reflect, so with 5 gems that will likely come into play. So we'll be looking for a medicine.
A lot of stuff near start today.
Yeah, the West has by far the most item locations. So the fact that there are plenty of things towards start is not necessarily a big surprise, but they can be much more spread out than they are. It seems to be a pretty small configuration of things.
Yeah, didn't catch what either of traiLZ or Ellendar just got in their respective items. So
traiLZ got a magic container, and it looks like Ellendar got a heart container from the grass tunnel.
Not too shabby, as you see Palace 4 up on the northern bit of things.
Another fairly neutral color. It was kind of an orangey tan for Palace 4.
Too bad.
And Jump in Saria. Death Mountain, location for the cross. And I think that's our first hint.
And apparently Hammer was in P4. Thank you. Not quite sure where that hint was, Clem.
Ellendar is going to pick up a magic container as well. And going for early life levels.
traiLZ, you started with Jump. Why did you go pick it up?
Oh, we all do it. We all do it.
I only realized when he realized it.
I've talked with traiLZ before about kind of philosophy about taking hints or not, and often the mindset is, I'm going to go to all these places anyway. It doesn't necessarily serve me to go out of my way if I know I'm going to be checking all these places.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think
depends.
it's a bit of a chuckle when you go for the item you started with.
Yeah, you slap your forehead, you groan. Ooh, double jump.
Double jump.
For
So when you get a
Rando 5.0.
No, we don't have a hint command for Z2R. Also, Saria is being very stupid today. It's right next to itself.
Not fooling our runners today, Saria.
Yep. Down stab for trails. Yep, we can see various mark that works correctly. Thank you, Krista.
And in the trophy cave, I believe this was one of the magic containers here. Yep.
Yeah, just got around to refreshing my comms page because chat said I was just a couple seconds ahead. Give me a sec for the PC streams to load again. Alright.
Zeroing, thanks for catching that. Medicine is in the west.
Okay.
And that was tied to reflect, if I recall. So we will likely see traiLZ try to pick that up, because we already know Palace 4 is in the west, and if you can take care of the western palaces before going other places, you can potentially save a lot of time on resets.
Sorry, refreshing the page. Medicine is where?
It is in the west.
Ah, nice. So yeah, they'll want to find out.
And maybe it's here in our Vanilla Heart Container Cave. traiLZ lures out the Daira. Takes life 3.
So far seeming like one of the more survivable seeds compared to a lot of the ones we've seen lately for Max Rando.
And we have boots. Yeah, a standard 4 heart container start. Both runners getting up to life level 3. I don't think we are very likely to see lots of game overs in the early stages of the game here. What we have late in the game remains to be seen.
I think they have 5 lives too, so they're definitely not game overing too much.
No. Ellendar has taken a few deaths. I saw he was at 2 lives. But with everything as close together as it is, there's not much penalty for a game over in this stage of the game.
Really? Yeah, last night's seed was not great for survivability.
Oh man, those of you who missed the weekly race, it was very spread out, and to progress, you had to go through multiple pass-through caves and continents.
Yep, I managed to completely lose track of all sense of direction, but it was good for XP farming. There is that.
That is true. We had some 1,000-point P bags popping up in that seed.
You had
And
like
apparently,
556 or
500.
you had like 556 like 5 minutes in or something really
Yeah,
stupid.
before I even went for a gem.
It was nuts.
Ellendar's got boots now too, and traiLZ picked up the heart container from the medicine cave. We still have medicine at large.
There's the raft tile in the southeast corner.
But no
It's a
raft.
5-gemmer. Yeah, no raft. Not sure what Ellendar was trying to do there, but can't get any further. That coast is not useful. In a very compact west that seems to be a little nicer than yesterday's west, which was, I think it was vanilla-like, might have been mountainous, couldn't quite be sure. And
So,
just very spread out and very I got thoroughly lost yesterday.
yeah, if I wasn't playing it myself, I don't think I would have had any hope of tracking and following where things were traiLZ incidentally just did the same raft check that Ellendar did, so there must be some kind of thought experiment thing that leads to why we choose to do that.
Alright, and alright, nice early open air room. These look a lot like these are always pretty funny to see. I like commentating in 4.0 on some of the community rooms we get.
I like this room because it reminds me of Castlevania, those kind of big open air bridges that connect buildings.
Mm-hmm. It looks really cool, actually, I'll say, this room. It throws you for an absolute loop when you first see it, but it's pretty neat.
And is this an indigo, or are we more purple than that?
I think it's a bit more royal blue. Indigo would be
royal blue, yeah, that's it.
I do like this shade. It's not too harsh on the eyes, at least on traiLZ's screen. And hi! Helmet head. Sure. A fairly squishy one at that.
Yeah, for attack level 2, that's a pretty quick helmet head. I just learned the term squishy, by the way. Like this is new to me. I need the younger generation to teach me things, or maybe it's just like I haven't really been in the gamer community long enough. I love it though. I think it's a great term.
50-point P-Bag, but Fairy only costs 50 in Magic 4, so traiLZ doesn't too much care with the 6 magic jars. Not the greatest, but not the worst. It's manageable.
And traiLZ does tend to go for palace items if there are any at large that are required for seed completion. So he's fortunate that the magic container was right there, just past the boss. And now checking out Palace 4 for items too. This is interesting because I don't believe Reflect is in hand yet.
Nope. And
but last night's seed told us that sometimes the Palace 4 item is important to get, even if you can't defeat Karok yet.
Yes, because for those who didn't watch yesterday's seed, well, if you don't want spoilers, zone out for the next 10 seconds. If you don't want spoilers, though, it was a hard-to-player double. It was 6 gemers, so you had to do all palaces. And Palace 4 had the trophy. Trophy led to Reflect. Over here, last location. Yep.
It was one of those kind of Metroid Prime exploration lock things where it's just, do I really have to go this far back to do the thing?
Yeah. Okay, thank you, right, because chat reminding us that F4 has the hammer, because we did see a hint for that somewhere earlier. Yeah, you were not amused yesterday at that trophy. Yesterday's seed was also one where you started with 3 heart containers, and those were your only 3 heart containers.
Yeah, we're sure to see that and worse in this tournament. The Max Rando gives you plenty of opportunities for unusual challenges in each of the seeds.
Yep. This one seems to so far be pretty decent. Pending item locations.
Yeah, that's gonna be it.
Yeah, and also, yes. Yeah, so yeah, the Eastern Raft Pal was in a pretty funny spot, and Victor took one look. Victor Santa Fe, who was on Restream with Chroma, took one look and was like, "Nope, nope." There's a clip of it. Nice easy horse head here for Ellendar. I just started sniggering seeing Victor's face in that raft tile.
Gonna go for the experience level, just passed right on through the gem room there. And traiLZ just picked up his hammer.
Yep. Yeah, Victor just kind of took one look at it, was like, made a pretty grumpy face at the camera and quit half of these.
Did he not have boots yet when he found the east?
No,
Was
he
that
found boots, he just didn't want to do it apparently. He's just like, no thanks. I want to do something that's not the vanilla layout east. As high Death Mountain is, Death Mountain.
Okay,
Yes.
so out of the west for a bit here. Still didn't pick up any medicine from the west, so maybe traiLZ's play here is to just see what he can find elsewhere, see if the other gem locations are going to be more accessible. No, just a quick dip in. We're going to keep exploring west.
It looked like just like a vanilla-like Death Mountain, just regular mountainous terrain, nothing particularly fancy there. Yesterday's Death Mountain was a canyon, which threw me for a loop.
I loved it. I mean,
Oh, it
in
was
theory,
super interesting.
like there's a nice river.
Good thing you had boots.
Yeah.
Would have been a lot worse without boots. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, for sure. The Death Mountains that are the vanilla shuffled ones are easily the most difficult, because you can't count on one cave leading logically to another one. It's that non-Euclidean stuff in its worst application.
Hey, Lonely Mike Hedge. Zelda Rando has an unusual quirk among randomizers that it has full-blown map rando.
How awful can it be? How awful can it be? That works well as a question and an exclamation.
Yep. Well, Chroma and I here are going to sound a bit silly as we have no idea where they're going. No one has any idea where they're going. It's map rando. Like, there's tile sets, and there are rules based on it. So you can have a straight vanilla layout, you can have something that's similar to vanilla with a mix of, like, water and mountains and what have you. And then there's various other themes. Yeah, there's a very long explanation, but the short version is a randomized tile sets, more or less. With various themes that can go into it.
Yeah, the way
and
the
also
palaces...
the rooms and palaces are randomized too.
The rooms are set designs, though. Each individual room is shuffled in a layout within the dungeon that is not necessarily Euclidean or logical in its arrangement. Yeah. Except that if you exit a room to the right, you will show up on the left of the next room. And same
it is
for up
at least
down.
that sensible.
Man, can you imagine?
Oh god.
Shudders. So Ellendar's disadvantage at this stage of the run, still pretty early in, is just the down stab is not there yet. Not a significant disadvantage, but that's something that he'll want to be picking up pretty soon. Just to avoid some of the extra trouble of navigating without it.
And we have a flute here in P1 today. That is
Excellent.
A nice thing to get.
It is required.
Unfortunately, you have to approach this room from the bottom to get it, which is how traiLZ came at it from the bottom. Ellendar came at it from the left. Ellendar's gonna have to go around to get that flute.
And going around, since these dungeons aren't Euclidean in construction, means just about anything. Just needs to approach something from below and hope that it turns up there.
Yep. Like, Chroma and I are going to sound very lost. we are lost. We don't know where they're going.
Not at all.
No one knows where they're going. That's just CTR for you.
They're both in a kind of, I don't know, mossy brown dungeon.
Yeah, it's
stuff.
not the greatest shade of brown ever. And hey,
There's
there
the
we go. And our restreamer lost the pirate, making our usual pun about getting lost in C2.
Maybe it's just the mood I'm in, but it feels like that's never not going to be funny.
I always find it kind of funny. At least I just give at least a light chuckle at the bad pun.
A courtesy laugh.
I got this, maybe. You're alright, Krista. Alright, Ellendar's gonna pick up Hammer now as traiLZ is checking out this hammer blocked cave. And Zia Sarbot?
There it is. Medicine. So, traiLZ is likely to be picking up Reflect and taking care of Palace 4, getting that out of the way. Gives more options for whatever he runs across in the east. Or, Maze Island.
There we go. We're also trying to shout out our runners, and the bot decided to be stupid. But there we go. Shoutouts to both of our runners, traiLZ and Ellendar, to my co-com Chromaticalism, to our checker Krista, and to our restreamer Lost. This means Raft is in Death Mountain. At this point, yes. Connectors are shuffled, but we haven't found another method to get to the Eastern Continent today, so it's gotta be that raft tile in the southeast corner, I think. That or you find it through Death Mountain.
Could be another exit through Death Mountain. I don't think we've seen the two intercontinental caves. Or the what do you call that? The bridge to Maze Island?
Yeah, we haven't.
From Vanilla?
Yeah, so we haven't... But I think our only intercontinental connector on the west is that raft tile we saw in the southeast corner. And then there's Death Mountain, so it looks like they need to dig Death Mountain, either for the raft or for the other exit.
Now, did we confirm the Palace 4 item?
It's a hammer, yes.
It's that one is the hammer, okay.
Oh god, yeah, oh... If you'd only played 5 minutes of Vanilla C2, yeah, you're gonna be... I can imagine, you are so confused. Oh god, fair play from Clem. You were hardcore to double dip P4 today if you wanted to beat it. Flashbacks to yesterday with an extra step.
And the fact that traiLZ has managed to do that in about 20 minutes is gonna save a lot of headache later in the run.
Oh yeah, and Ellendar's on the same track.
Yeah.
Yep, 2 in a row! Lost is on a roll! This is a very cramped room that Ellendar's found himself in. That middle bit there, very tight hallway that you can only get through by the use of the fairy spell. Speaking of said fairy spell, traiLZ doesn't have enough magic for it. And this is not a great enemy to Death Warp Papa. Yeah, this is not the greatest of enemies to death die unintentionally.
You gotta do what you gotta do. It looks like there are some red jars in the drop pool, but yeah, the death is definitely the most efficient way to go about it.
Yep.
It is very disheartening to defeat the boss and then come up against that door saying, nope, not today.
Yeah.
Come back another time.
This fairy currently costs 50 magic for both at magic levels 4 and 5.
That's a fairly expensive fairy when you don't have other means to get through doors.
Yep.
Now,
Any
this
key
is a tricky room without the jump spell here, but
yeah, because
not
those
too
jumps are
expensive.
pretty tight without jump.
I believe there's a 2-pixel window for when you can jump and still make the jump.
Yeah. Yeah, Trails is done in the west. Is done in the west. Just needs to do Death Mountain. Ellendar's getting close to that as well. All right, how bad is Death Mountain today?
Always bad.
Ellendar got knocked out of the standard tournament by dint of a pretty brutal Death Mountain that both he and his opponent spent the better part of a third of the seed in. His opponent spent 25 minutes in Death Mountain. Ellendar spent 40. It did not go well.
So fortunate for our runners, at least at Death Mountain you can predict where the caves are going to pop you out.
Because a feature that is turned on is that the connector caves can lead you to where you think they're going.
Ooh, look at that location for Spectacle Rock. Totally isolated there, but
Yeah,
just across.
isolated. We have isolated Spectral Rock, but yeah, just across. And it's another dead end. Lovely.
Krista, you're giving me ideas. I have a trombone in the house. I could do the sad trombone noise, but maybe another time.
Pretty much, my kid. C2R messes with your brain. The item shuffle isn't the most complicated, since it's not the most complicated game. But the map reshuffle is what really makes C2R interesting, and what can really throw you for a loop. No, actually, I was wrong about Death Mountain's layout. It's a caldera. Because we just found the caldera.
Fancy.
It can be quite hard to tell the difference between mountain, volcano, and caldera, but that's definitely a caldera.
Decent fishing in that lake, I imagine. Who knows?
Hard to get there, though, as we see the other entrance of Death Mountain is a bridge. 2 Maze Island. Okay.
Alright, so we got another palace location. We've got 2 easy items on the path here, so long as they're not, in those deep hidden corners of the maze. Ellendar with a strategic death warp there that was totally on purpose and saved him about 20 seconds.
And, alright, so the other connector in Maze Island has to connect to the east, as does the raft tile in the west at this point. But who knows where that is, and we're not sure what kind of connector it is in Maze Island either. Kinda, Krista, although this cross is a bit more useful than the single arrow, at least. And we have, slightly obnoxious purple here. Either 3 or 6 in Maze Island. That's a bit bright. Little bit too neon for my taste.
Yeah,
Game over for Ellendar.
That purpley magenta with pink highlights. It's very strong.
Also, okay, it's P6, cause hi, Barba.
Woo!
Palaces 3 and 6 and 4.0, you can only tell apart by their windows or by finding the boss. So, you find the boss.
Yeah, more often than not, I would say that's how you figure out what it is.
Is you just say, oh, hi, Barba, and...
And when I'm doing
Also,
my tracker, I just guess and change it later if I'm wrong.
Also, that Barba took like no hits. I look away and it's done.
Yeah, I think it was 2 cycles. He was pretty efficient. He's got some pretty good strats with the jump spell.
Mm-hmm. Ellendar, having had a really bad time in P4, nopes out without the hammer, is gonna see if he can't find something in P2 and beat it, which is understandable. Yep, still no glove. Don't know if it's required either.
More often than not, I mean, really, apparently, like last night's stream, last night's race, it was not. That is definitely the exception to the rule.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that last night's seat could have been done without a glove, because he just kind of always assumes it can't. Especially on a 6th gemmer, you'd assume you have to use the gloves.
Yeah. Well, picking up the glove is always going to be the right play. Like, the chances of it not being required are so minuscule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5-bar Burba, thanks. That's pretty funny.
Moas are putting the mangoes in pretty tricky spots there in this room.
Yeah, this is a fun room of platforming.
Yeah, that's a room from Death Mountain, and I was always annoyed by that room until... Well, wait, let me rephrase that. That room is super annoying, and then you do it without candle, and it's even more annoying. And then you do it in New Game Plus with the scroll lock glitch activated, and you can't see any of the platforms, even if you could see the outlines of them. So it becomes this kind of muscle memory and visual cues kind of thing.
Ouch.
It can be a pain. But throwing in the moas, dropping the fire mangoes on top of the platforms does make it so that you have to slow down a little bit.
Yep, and traiLZ noping out a P6. I think it might have been glove blocked, or at least the item might be. There's helmet head for Ellendar. I completely missed what traiLZ just picked up. Whoops.
It was a small key.
Yep.
That's our single arrow there.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah,
blue
that room that
magic.
traiLZ was in just before noping out. Yeah, that's a it. Also, okay, you can't get to the east without a raft, because cave that must lead to the east. Or rather, hole in the ground, technically, but that works too. Random connectors get fun.
It's a portal through space and time.
Yeah, normal run-of-the-mill Cave 1 isn't too... that does mean that there are like 2 junk items in the pool, I think, but beyond that you start worrying about heart containers being gone.
Yeah, it's a very real threat.
Yeah, and there's the raft, alright.
So traiLZ having the raft now has access to any of the remaining item locations that he needs. That glove, I think, is going to be the main factor here, and potentially Thunder Spell.
Oh,
we have not seen a link with fire yet.
Ew, we've got ourselves an Islands East. Blah! Hi,
But
Candle.
fortunately, boots are walkable. So
Yeah, the Islands biome is probably my least favorite. It's named so for rather obvious reasons. And it's the most confusing one, honestly, to me. There's Darunia by the raft tile, and I missed what spell that was.
it's fairy, which he has already. So and opting not to go in for upstab. With jump spell, there's really only one room.
Ooh, Thunder Rando with Kasudo.
So big pickup there for traiLZ. It's just going to be the raft, and then whichever palace he decides to take off. traiLZ is in a really good position right now. Ellendar's got quite a bit of ground to make up to catch up at this point, I think.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the glove is gonna most likely decide whether traiLZ is able to finish quickly here.
Oh, and there's P3, a nice light gray color here on the same island as Darunia and Old Kasuto. This island's proving handy.
There it is. So I was mentioning earlier, he neglected to pick up the upstab, and that's kind of a calculated risk. There is only one room that requires it, and that was it.
Fun! I mean, upstab is next door, so it's not too hard to get back there.
If he really needs to, it won't be an issue. And maybe that's what he's going to opt for.
Yeah, the island's biome completely destroys any remote possibility of me having any idea where they're going, because the island is just... It's really hard to keep track of things when they're all disconnected like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even with a non-existent sense of direction in a map randomizer, I can still manage with other biomes.
When you can see the borders of the continent that you're on, it makes it a lot easier to keep track of where you're going.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
the
hi,
island
Three-Eyed
does
Rock.
tend to obscure that.
Mhm.
So the question with this Three-Eyed Rock is this going to be a palace?
Is this a town?
Or-
A random encounter?
Ooh, there's a palace right there. I wonder, we haven't seen our
Oh, Naburu's in Three-Eyed Rock.
life not really required and vitality, max HP, whatever you want to call it, is pretty strong already. Here's 5. That could be a good option if traiLZ doesn't want to worry about upstab, but I think he's really just looking for glove at this point. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering, is that room possible to get through without upstab, like with jump spell and careful positioning? If anyone in the chat knows, I'd be curious.
Also, New Kasuto here, not too far from where everything else was, it seemed. P5 was a bright cherry red today. And yeah, GP's in the Valley of Death. Also, hi Cassie, sorry we've been busy commentating. And yes, walking on water is a vanilla thing in Z2, using the boots.
traiLZ's in a really good position with levels right now as well. There isn't really a whole lot of neat... Oh, there's the single arrow. There it is.
Yep, just a jar.
Oh, man. So still on the lookout for that glove.
Yep.
We've got the caves of the east available still. I don't think we've seen either of those. Nice emote, Krista.
Yep, and yes, exactly, my kid. Exactly. This is a very fragmented islands biome too. Like, this is kind of horrendous. If they didn't have boots, you would have the world's worst day with this.
traiLZ has got one of the item caves.
Yep. The cross is rendered like this game, Stone of Agony, probably. Or Candle,
Actually,
perhaps.
I think is a really good
There it is.
analogy. Particularly because the cross is about showing you the location of a thing that you can still interact with, but it's just a lot harder to know where it is unless you have the thing.
Yep. And yeah, so that globe was kind of just, it was hard boots blocked, just kind of up in the north there someplace. Trying to take notes on an island biome is impossible because you have no idea where anything is or how many islands there are in each direction.
Yeah,
I think
you're
Chelsea
writing
down to the
down like
northern edge.
you're writing down longitude and latitude coordinates, right? You're the Gwaelin's love item from Dragon Warrior. And Trail's
Yes, he did climb.
got to be in go mode at this point.
He
Possible. Okay, gonna bypass upstab. Looks like. So just
I think he's
one palace
currently-
and then GP.
Yep, I think he's currently trying to find where GP is, because that's actually quite hard in the islands biome to find where is that one island that has the Valley of Death. Oh, you're not supposed to have, it's not required to take notes. I'm taking notes as a commentator, but it is certainly not required, although it is helpful to have notes or something to keep, the things straight, because good luck keeping things straight in Z2 with the map Rando and everything else.
Oh, I just realized I was mistaking the room that traiLZ is in for a different room that is upstab required. That one is not.
Just straight glove locked. At least the palace was nice and it immediately told you were locked out instead of having to go halfway through the palace and then realize, oh, come on. Linkage, not required as a viewer, and you figure out to take notes with time. Like, I've got a full formatted notes sheet to look at. But yeah, it's mostly just notes of some writing. Like, half my notes are where things are just near start, or it's in the northwest, or it's near this other thing. Because it's not like it's an exact science, unless it's the vanilla map layout, in which case I pull up a vanilla map and use that map's like marking of names of things like Secret 12 or map or Trap 7 to have an idea of where things are. But that requires me cross-referencing a map. Vanilla map layout's even more confusing in some ways because the connectors are shuffled. So some things are the same, but others aren't. We had a vanilla eastern continent yesterday. That's all good, Mike Edge. We're here to do the thinking for you. Oh, traiLZ is not happy with himself over that death on Rebenak.
He went aggressive. It was one of those kind of calculated risks, and recognized that, okay, maybe that didn't quite pay off in this circumstance.
Nope.
Just as aggressive this time around, but got the results that he wanted from the first attempt there.
Yeah. Still, it does have enough magic to cast Fairy as Ellendar goes into the horrendously bright P5. I am not a fan.
traiLZ is on his way to GP now to go and show us what fresh monstrosities await.
Well, he needs to get to GP first, and I don't actually know where it is right now.
It shouldn't take him too long.
It's in Valley of Death. I'm not actually sure where it is.
Gonna pick up Upstab first, just in case. I think this is a good move overall. Both for the exploration possibilities, but also just defense from the Bird Knights.
Yep,
and going
hey,
for the
VXR.
super jump. Got it on the third try, was it? That's a tricky little technique there, this frame perfect jump that makes it so you don't have to use fairy to get up there or walk halfway across the screen to jump on the roofs.
Yep. You wasted your time, lol. Yeah, hey VXR in chat, welcome in. Just got done with our Twilight Princess race, TP being Twilight Princess. We're at the tail end of a seed here between traiLZ and Ellendar. 5 gemmer, pretty decent. traiLZ has got pretty good with got items really quickly and has been on a roll with palaces. Just needs to find where is the Valley of Death. I'm not actually sure because the island biome messes with my brain.
You get lava everywhere.
Yep. So which patch of lava is the correct one? That makes sense, VXR. Yeah, we need to figure out where is the correct patch of lava, and it might take traiLZ a few minutes to find that out. It's somewhere. I think it might be this one.
Is. Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. So he'll have to go through that that narrow valley of lava there, hence Valley of Death.
Yep. Candle for Ellendar, but yeah, this is hey all beasts! Raiding with a party of 50! Welcome in!
Woo!
All beast here also plays Z2R from time to time, and we've got ourselves a max rando tourney race between traiLZ and Ellendar that's near the end. traiLZ here is about to get to GP.
Season premiere of the Max Rando tournament.
Yep. It's his favorite game indeed. We have I've actually rated all beasts in the past, I believe. And I do occasionally, and whenever I do like a raid targets, you do show up on the list from time to time, so it's, you're somewhere on the list. You show up often enough that I still remember your name. So welcome in. There's glove for Ellendar.
Ellendar just found a glove, so there's still a chance for Ellendar if GP is something of a nightmare, and traiLZ has to spin the wheels through all the different branching paths, but we'll see what it gives us.
GP's a fairly neutral salmon color, I guess, today.
I was going to ask you what flavor of Pez is that, but salmon is not a great answer for a Pez flavor.
God, no. I'm not sure. I don't know Pez flavors, so...
I'm pretty sure the flavors are just, like, the same. Just slightly different variations on somewhat sour sugar.
Pretty much. And, it's not cherry red. I believe Palace 5 is cherry red today. It's a fairly bright shade of red. This one's just a bit too orange for that. Orangey pink. And, this is a funny room. Not particularly hard, just funny looking.
I love the mid gasp emote thing.
Oh, I do too. And you putting in one of your fire dragon emotes, which I do also love.
If who did? Was it Shiro who has those?
Yeah, Shiro has those also.
If Shiro's not doing it, someone has to.
Oh, the other item in the east was just a pea bag. Ouch. And thank you, EAP, for gifting a sub to all bees.
First dead end there for traiLZ.
Yep. He found the loop earlier also, but just before that, so is back to the start.
Well, every loop and dead end you find is something that brings you closer to a very clear idea of where you're supposed to go.
Yep.
No knowledge is wasted knowledge. Magic key for Ellendar. I'm not sure that that's something that traiLZ picked up.
Don't believe so. Didn't need it either. But
no, but it can be convenient. You don't have to take a death abuse to a rope that takes a full minute. Oh, just barely fell off the bridge there.
ooh, these crumble bridges can be a bit trolly.
I thought you were going to say something else. They can be a bit trolly. Yes, they can. Yes, they can.
bypassing the Eon drop for the moment. And yes, if you get to 50 subs, we do get another emote here on this channel, which I think, might be a Blame Lost emote. We're trying to expand our emotes on our secondary channels. Krista. I do love the Fire Dragon emotes, they're just so expressive. I love the ZSR ones too, there's a lot of good ones.
Hey, it's Thunderbird.
Yep.
Which doesn't necessarily mean anything.
It can, it might not, we don't know.
Death to refill the magic so that Thunder is castable.
Ellendar is in P3.
At the rate traiLZ is going, I think it's pretty safe to assume that he's going to be finding the way through this GP pretty quickly.
Hey, that works too, Mike AG. Certainly, we have lurkers, and we don't mind that at all. We have active chat, we have people just watching and not chatting, and they're just lurkers. And that works just fine for us. Thanks, Lost. Yep, sending, because the blame whoever emotes, we've got a blame void emote in the works as well. I think it's actually made already. I wonder when CSR Nerd's getting added, actually.
Ooh!
Oh, that's
big
bad.
troll there.
I wonder when if ZSR Nerd's gotten approved yet. I think that was also scheduled to go on this channel. Could be wrong. And Nerd is level rated, so I thought, nice, Lost. Nice. Yeah, I thought Nerd might be live already, but I wasn't 100% sure. I don't.
What got me on the dead end troll where it was the king bot there. You walk in and the king bot falls.
It's great. Yeah, so currently the 4 emotes on this channel are Good Luck Good Luck and Have Fun emotes, a ZSR Blame Void emote, and a ZSR Nerd emote. And they're all great if you want the sub to ZSR2, and ZSR Pain has our primary lovely emotes. I don't have a ZSR2 sub, but I do currently have a ZSR main sub.
So traiLZ is down the Eon drop now, which seems to be the way to go.
And there, in fact, are all of the ZSR main emotes. Okay, it doesn't look like Twitch didn't quite properly format the message correctly. Ha! Yup, stab block for traiLZ. And
traiLZ has his methods. It is possible to get through there without upstab if you have jump, and it is possible to get through there without jump if you have upstab.
In this case, not particularly big an issue, and there we go, Dark Link for traiLZ. And hey, the XR, thank you for putting in our... Yep.
Super aggressive Dark Link. Already jumped at traiLZ twice here. When you're in the corner, that's really the only way. The third time, look at that. But clutch each time, getting the timing right on the evasion. And traiLZ is done.
GG.
First winner in the Max Rando tournament so far.
Yep. GG's, 53 minutes and 5 seconds. I don't think we've seen a sub 1 seeded in some time for Max Rando, at least not in 4.0 really. We haven't seen much in the way of restreamed of sub 1 seeds.
The weekly ones have been particularly tough. I think overall this in the mid 50s range is a pretty average time for someone like traiLZ.
Mhm.
You'll get really fast ones because of the low gems sometimes, and then sometimes you just get those tough seeds that may as well be standard. But good time for traiLZ. Looks like Ellendar is kind of assessing the what to do next, and we'll see if we get a finish or not.
Nope. But it looks like Ellendar is just paused and is thinking, perhaps. Yep. So yeah, pretty decent seed. 5 gemmer sub. F1ing is not bad at all.
No, not at all. I think we had kind of everything from this seed that you would expect to see without any of the major frustrations in a seed. We did have the difficulty with medicine in Palace 4, and we had kind of a long path to get to the glove. But in the end, pretty straightforward randomizer seed. Those of you who are new to the Zelda 2 randomizer, this is a pretty good example of what it's about.
Yep.
Hey,
And
what's up, guys?
And there's
Hey, Graham.
traiLZ. GG traiLZ.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
So what happened? How did he get hung out? I saw he had 4 gems placed, so he wasn't too far behind.
So I think most of the time difference came in the early game.
Hold on 1 second.
And
Let me turn off the push talk or whatever. Or wait a minute, it should be fine, right? Oh, it's coming out of my speakers. That's what it is.
yeah, we hear you clearly. It's your own convenience.
Are you guys?
Yeah,
Is it echoing for you guys?
no,
not right now.
Okay.
you're clear. Yeah, so early game stuff mostly. You placed a few more gems before Ellendar did, and I think getting the hammer that led to the medicine that led to Reflect was a slightly quicker process for you than it was for Ellendar.
Yeah, I mean, realizing that I had 5 gems placed, or we started. It was a 5 gem seed, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
The medicine was on the west, and so was Palace Forest. So before I went east or started doing Death Mountain and stuff like that, I decided to place the gem in Palace 4. That way, I didn't have to turn back around. Could just go back, sail east, or go through Mesa Island east, and then never have to look back.
Yep. Oh, hey, Ellendar, GG's.
Hey, GG. That was a fun one. Aside from the horrible mistake I made, I felt it was enjoyable.
What was the mistake that you made?
I either didn't see or didn't mark the cave to Death Mountain, and so I thought I had checked everything, and I had the hint for Hammer in 4, so I figured progress was behind the rock block, and dug 4 for 15 minutes.
Was there anything behind, or what? You got a hint for the hammer? So I just went and got the hammer.
Yeah, I took every wrong turn, every left, took a whole bunch of bot trolls and miscellaneous garbage into lava, and just spent forever, never even found the item. Decided to just double check my caves, found Death Mountain. I'm like, well, I lost.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I did a lot of unnecessary digging. It didn't look like that you were really too far behind when I went back on the restream. GP trolled me a little bit.
Yeah, I assumed the last dungeon in the east that I was about to find in Death Valley were going to be the last crystal in 7 for me. So I was probably at least 15 minutes out from finishing. But if I didn't make that mistake in 4, I feel like I was probably in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that hammer turned up a medicine in that one hammer blocked cave.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah. If you wanted to beat P4, you had to double dip it.
Yeah. So it wasn't necessarily required for Ellendar there, but you know, when you do get hung up on a hint and you can't progress because there's some kind of mental block about where you've been and where you haven't been. Yeah, that definitely affects the way you approach the rest of the game and can make it feel really chaotic. You did definitely still have a chance to be in it, though, all things considered, and I think you know, we didn't see Palace 5 at all, so you know, who knows how long that would have taken. Could have that early Guma. You never know.
I've done Palace 5 that were 2 rooms. You go in the elevator and two rooms down, and there's the boss.
I mean, that was P6 basically, I think.
Yeah,
Pretty
P6
much.
was really quick.
That was
I almost
hilarious.
went in there. I didn't know where the hammer was. I didn't get a hint for the hammer or the glove, and I don't. There might not have been a hint for the glove, but I hit a dead end in P6, and I was just like, all right, whatever. This will be the last thing I do if the glove's in here, and I just left, and thank goodness, man.
Yeah, as soon as I got to the east, I found the glove cave pretty much right away, and then went to 6, and it was like 2 rooms in, and I'm like, all right, well, catching up at least.
Well, Ellendar, in this randomizer, you're less likely to be glove blocked. There was an immediate glove block in 3, but more times than not, you're not going to. There's like, it seems like the boss is easier to get to, so you're more likely than not to be glove blocked in something like P6.
My only concern about glove block, especially with like 5 crystals required, is the number of times I've been glove blocked like in 7, like when I take the gamble, is concerning. And
well, GP, you always need a glove in GP.
Yeah, so.
But I mean, as far as like something like 6, I mean, you could probably just.
Yeah. Well, like I basically the first thing I did going to the east was go straight up the water and found the glove basically right away there, and I was like,
okay, so it didn't really cost you any time at all.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, well, at this point, I have to take every gamble I can. I need to find 2 palaces. I need to clear them, and 7 has to be here. And so I was just walking the water as much as I could, looking for points of interest.
Man, that style of Everworld is a nightmare without the boots. Having to do those little islands, it's awful. Thank God for early boots.
I think they're really fun if you get them early.
Yeah.
Without the boots, but like having East be that style, and then getting there late, not having the boots, not knowing if you missed them, and you're just wasting a ton of time is rough.
Yeah. The island biome can be one of the hardest to just keep track of because you have no idea where the boundaries are or where anything is in relation to another. Sometimes it's an odd one to keep track of for sure.
Yeah, I started using the map function on Emo Tracker a lot more for these kind of seeds. Just because for the islands, they're generally laid out sort of roughly in a grid. You can tell where you are on the grid, and so you can sort of map it out like you would Zelda 1, where you're putting down like just real basic notes for paths and what corner which things are in, and it can make it a lot easier to map out those islands.
Yeah, I tend to get lost a lot when it comes to the islands or the mountainous biome with like those long skinny hallways. I have a really tough time with that style of Everworld. Yeah. I know it's gonna bite me at some point in this tournament.
I'm just glad for the new Death Mountains. They're so much better than the old ones.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
there is still the vanilla shuffle Death Mountain, and that one I'm always going to complain about.
Oh yeah, vanilla shuffle can be a total nightmare. I've spent 30 minutes in there before and just given up. Just okay, you win game. I don't feel like it anymore.
Yeah.
So in spite of the fact that we did have the islands in the east, I'd say like both the west and the east had very accessible locations. We didn't have to go through any significant like pass through caves to find locations. It was more about just keeping track of where you've been and what you've seen,
Mhm.
which I think both of you overall did pretty well, with the little exception of Death Mountain in the west and the Palace 4 confusion. But yeah, overall pretty representative seed of the randomizer, I would say. Like you'll get worse, you'll get easier.
Pretty average. Not super awful on the map, not super awful on survivability. Decent time too at 53 minutes.
Yeah. That is it's actually a pretty fast time. What was I gonna say? Yeah, this one kind of showcased. I mean, it's not like that you guys, people in ZSR haven't seen it before, but the anything goes connectors where you'll take a raft that might take you to Death Mountain, that might take you to Maze Island, and it's weird how all four connect so differently.
Yeah, I take it for granted now. It's just such a normal part of the randomizer that it's hard to remember that it didn't used to be like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the old randomizer was fun, but it was very cookie cutter. Everything was pretty much done exactly the same, and all the palaces were kind of like you were kind of like an autopilot the whole time, because you just kind of like, okay, I gotta go around, I gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta take a pass through cave, gotta go north, gotta find the caves, gotta go east. All right, and leave Death Mountain for the end, and there was no such thing as like a Death Mountain connector. In between continents, or like a no glove required, or not no glove, no raft required seeds. Stuff like that. Like this seed, raft wasn't required. Matter of fact, I think raft was on the east, wasn't it? Or it was in Maze Island or something.
Yeah.
Raft. Yeah, raft was today in.
Oh yeah,
I think the raft was in Maze
Yeah,
Island.
it was in Death Mountain and Maze Island. Yeah.
Yeah, but at that point, I had already found the connector to the east, so it was pointless to go back to the west and take the raft to see where it's going to take me.
Mhm.
But it did take you to the east also.
Yep.
So it's really interesting how these things can really each connector area can literally connect you anywhere else. I've had eastern continents that were completely separated from each other. Mountainous biome where you could only access the bottom half through a connector.
Oh,
could only
black!
The top half through a connector. And
Yeah,
it was
I've seen
required.
that before. I
It's
saw an island biome one time where like 90% of the map you could get to be in the normal connections, but the one random corner you had to get through a pass through from another place that had the boots, so you could get to Great Palace.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
It was fun.
There was.
Yeah, I mean. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No. You go ahead. I was going a different direction.
I was gonna say that sounds like a fun casual play, but a race. It sounds like pretty nerve-wracking to say the least.
Yeah, I mean,
So one of the things I think are super interesting about some of these seeds that are really pretty open, like this one, are some of the routing choices you can make. Like I believe that raft tile was right there next to Darunia, and if for whatever reason you needed to be on the west and accessing the east, like that could have been a convenient passage. That I just don't think it just didn't come up,
Yeah, it would have been nice, especially if you need to go back and do 4. And you're over on the east, like let's say Reflect was over there, and you wanted to go back, and you picked up the raft in Maze Island, and then you're on the east. Now you place all the gems, and you need to place one more, and there's the raft. It'll take you right back.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm really, really, really happy with this new update, even though it's 5 months old now or whatever. Still really fun.
Yeah. I mean, traiLZ knows this as much as anybody, but I experience with it a craving to like get in there and see like where stuff is going to be and how quickly I'm going to find it. Get that little rush of like making the big brain move,
Yeah, exactly. Playing it casually and racing it are two different things. Like I almost want to say I like to play it casually better because racing there's like that, there's that you double thinking and you're second guessing yourself and you're like, there's like a element of anxiety that follows, and it's kind of like and when you're playing the game casually, you're just kind of like, yeah, whatever, I'll take my time. Let's full clear the seed, you know what I mean? No big deal. But like when you in a race, you're just trying to go fast.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to remember, like, oh yeah, what are the things that are bare minimum required? Versus just enjoying playing the game. Yeah. Well, any other thoughts on elements of the race, execution, tournament, whatever?
Nah, I just GG Ellendar, and I wish you luck moving forward.
Yep, GG. Looking forward to playing.
GG's, yeah.
It was a fun race. I think it was pretty nice. Pretty nice for Max Rando could be much more worse. Much trollier. Start you off with less stuff and expect you to do worse things, but this one was pretty friendly in that regard. So
yeah,
that I'm grateful.
Yeah,
awesome.
Pretty decent seed.
You guys have a good night, okay?
Yeah, thanks, traiLZ. Good night.
Thank you. Later.
And GG Ellendar as well. We do have a few more scheduled races and a few more to be scheduled this week. I am racing with Dr. J PhD tomorrow at 8 Eastern, and then Rose City Saint is racing. What was that pairing? Jackamus. Jackamus on Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Few other good matchups yet to be scheduled. Paratrooper Ghost Dunk, Zarnax, Top Life, Level Engine versus Victor Santa Fe. And Jay Coper and the Alan Heffley, who's our tournament... What is his title? Organizer?
Admin, not entirely sure.
Master of Ceremonies? I don't know. The Alan Heffley. But yeah, plenty more Zelda 2 Randomizer to come.
Yep.
His title is The. I love that.
Yeah, I think that's about it for us today. Shoutouts to both of our runners, traiLZ and Ellendar. We'll get to see them in future races. They're out Swiss. Shoutouts to Makrova, here are my co-com and also a participant in this tourney, to our tracker, Krista, and to our race streamer, Lost.
Woo!
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Zelda 2. It's a good
Yeah.
game. Whoa!
Woohoo!
Good job, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.